So I seen a video on here, and it was a man that was talking about how he was a single father, and he wanted to have a sleepover for his daughter, and he had reached out to one of the moms that he was cool with, and asked her, like, hey, would you be comfortable with this? And he said that before he could even fully get his sentence out all the way, the mama was like, no, like, nope, I would not be comfortable. And he said that his feelings were hurt, and then he proceeded to say that he understands that it's because he's a man, but that he had been assaulted, and it was by a woman when he was younger. And so the point that he was pretty much trying to make was that it bothers him that he wants to have this experience for his daughter, but because of the circumstances he cannot, and because as a man he's looked at as a potential predator when women do it too. It was pretty much the gist of what happened. And I wanted to weigh in and put my 2 cents in because you guys know that I was raised by my dad, and so I have a couple of ways that I kind of feel about it. So for starters, I will say this: as a mother, okay, I have boys and girls. As a mother, from the time I got pregnant, had already decided that I probably wasn't going to be the sleepover mom. I did have a slumber party for my oldest son for, I want to say, his 8th birthday. But parents were welcome to stay over if they wanted to. It was honestly mostly like my godchildren, my kids' cousins. It wasn't anybody from like school or anything like that, so it's a little different. But my father was not that kind of dad. My father was very much the I need to meet the parents, and a birthday party was not going to be the day that my dad would met the parents and was like, okay, she can stay over. On the other side of that, I personally never had an issue, even though my father was a single father. But once again, I think that that goes back to the fact that my all of my friends' parents knew my father. So maybe that was the difference. Like I wonder, because I don't know. You can only gather so much from a TikTok video, but it makes me wonder because he said that he had reached out to one mom to see if pretty much she can get the ball rolling with the other moms, which means that he doesn't know these women. I don't know if it's just he didn't take the time to get to know them or what the case was, but as a parent, period, like my children can't go to anybody's house if my first time meeting him is the day that they're gonna go spend the night over there. Like that's out. Um, it does. There. Okay. So as a parent, there's a bunch of ways that he could have gone about this because I know people were saying like he was responding to certain comments, he was cussing people out, and apparently he got a fans only and some other things. And okay, so here's what I would have done because my daughter is 5, and she has asked for a sleepover before, and we were trying to work out the whole logistics of it, and I was like, okay, this is too much. We're not going to do all of this. What I would do if this was me, I would have like rented some sort of Airbnb and made it like a parent and children type thing. Like if you do, we're having a slumber party, we got this big ass house. I understand that it could be a little scary dropping your kid off. Therefore, I went and secured a big house. Parents are welcome to stay. That'll be the quickest way. If a parent is, if a parent is willing to participate, that's the quickest way to give your daughter the experience still, um, and lessen how the parents feel about it. Now, I don't understand in 2025 the whole big deal about a sleepover. I don't get it. Like it was fun, I guess, as a kid, but like when I look back now, like we could have had the party all day and then went home. I don't understand. And then for him, I feel like as a father, sir, put the shoe on the other foot. Like let's say I don't know how old these young ladies are, but let's say one of the young ladies, if they're little girls, what if a young lady has an accident? Who's gonna help her change? If these are older girls, what if the young lady's cycle starts or she bleed through her clothes? Then what? These are all things that need to be considered. So, like for instance, my best friend, rest in peace, um, Peggy used to, like, if Ashley, it was one time Ashley's cycle started at the house. And Ashley didn't use the same, like, sanitary napkins that I used. And her mother had to drive from where they lived to our house. Now, my dad, being my dad, was like, Peggy don't got to, like, told Peggy, like, you don't got to do that. Like, next time I'll just send them to Walgreens, like, because my dad's whole thing was, why waste your gas if coming over here if I can just shoot them a couple of dollars to walk a block down the street. But we were like 13, you know what I mean? And my dad would have driven. Peggy was a single mom, she was low income. My dad would have definitely, like, drove her over there. My dad was a little more well off at the time, is the point that I'm making. But I say all that to say that when parents become like bonus parents, like my dad was really the neighborhood dad. But my dad proved himself to be trustworthy by actions, not by words, not trying to plead to the public to trust him. So I understand all sides of the coin. I really do. I don't even think that it's completely a man thing. I think it's just completely a parent. People are not comfortable with just handing their child off to people. And things are weird now. It's bigger than just, okay, like, I don't know if y'all remember that story of, like, the dad, the dad who had a sleepover for his daughter, and this nigga made, like, GHB laced smoothies for the kids. And one of the little girls was, like, lactose intolerant or something, and so she didn't drink the smoothie, so she faked sleep. And the dad comes in the room to check and see if these little girls are asleep. And one of the daughters ended up texting the mama, and that's how they figured out what the hell was going on. You literally can't trust anybody. I was touched as a kid, and it was by a family member. It wasn't by no damn stranger. You can't even trust the people that you share a bloodline with. And when I tell y'all I'm scary as hell. Like, even me and my really good friends will be like, listen, let's get some wine, let's cook, bring the kids over. It be like a group thing. The only people that my children have spent the night over is obviously their godmother. They'll sleep at their godmother's house, their fathers, their grandparents, and not even all of the grandparents. Let's keep it a bean. And their daycare lady, because my children's old daycare provider is one of my babysitters now because she's 24 hours. That's it. Ain't no sleep over a friend's house. My oldest son, he'll sleep at the neighbor's house, but we're all, like, really, really, like, close, like, family close. Like, their kids could sleep at my house, vice versa. Like, he's treated like an extra kid. And he's never come home, to tell me, like, oh, I feel like this, and this, or whatever. But that boy about to be 13 years old, and I don't hand him over to everybody. He barely go to his own fucking daddy house. Like, I think that we have to start really, truly thinking from an objective space instead of feeling like, oh, I'm the victim, or, oh, they're looking at me like I'm going to do something. That might not even be the case. People just ain't willing to just hand their fucking kids over to people. And then y'all got to understand, too, like, certain people in these situations, we not our parents' generation. We don't just hand our kids off to get a break. We'll just fuck around and be tired. That ain't how we get out. But I want to know what y'all think about the situation. Like I said, as a mama, my kids ain't going nowhere. So, man, woman, I don't give a fuck. Everybody's dangerous in my eyes. Ain't no sleepover until you grown enough to take your ass over there yourself. You know what I mean? Like, until you are 18 and you can make the decision yourself to say, I'm going over there, that's out. We're not doing that.